Good morning. I love all the socializing. We haven't been able to do that in a while. If we could all take our seats to start the program. That's good. I have a commanding voice this morning. I know it's really wonderful that we can all be together, and it's absolutely magnificent to see people smiling and hugging and shaking hands, and it's long overdue. Good morning, everyone. How are we? Good? Good. Welcome to the Highfields Strengthening Families Breakfast. My name is Ann Brown. I serve on Highfields Board of Directors. I'm in my 4th year, and I'm honored to be with you all today, both in person here at the Kellogg Center and virtually. I'd like to start by recognizing those whose support we could not do without, and if you could please hold your roaring applause until the end. To our Strengthening Family Society and Robert L. Drake Society members, your long-term commitment is so appreciated. To our current and former board members and our board emeritus, thank you for your time, your leadership, and your support of Highfields' mission. Thank you to our elected officials joining us today for your continued advocacy and support. And to our table hosts and their guests, and those tuning in virtually, we cannot thank you enough for sharing your time with us today. When they asked me to host this year, they told me to share what I love about Highfields, and I said, so we only have an hour? So impossible. In an effort to help, they said, just pick one thing, your favorite thing about Highfields. And while that seemed impossible too, I decided to start by reflecting on the past couple of years. And it's been a tough couple of years, hasn't it? But it's also been quite beautiful if you know where to look. When I was a kid, I'd watch Mr. Rogers every day after school, and I found comfort in his messages. And there's one message that many of you may be familiar with. He said, when I was a child, I would see scary things in the news, and my mother would say, look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping. And all the chaos and challenges and uncertainty the past couple of years have shown, I know where to look for helpers to remind me what a beautiful place this world really is. The staff of Highfields, the helpers. Life is tragically short, and we all get to choose how we spend the little time that we have. Without fanfare, without their names on a marquee, the team at Highfields choose to give their time to strengthen, stabilize, and empower families in our community. Each morning, they wake up knowing that they are going to absorb a little bit of someone's darkness and give them a share of their light. And they do it day in and day out. In the past year alone, Highfields' team of more than 200 heroic helpers served 6,000 children and families, changing lives one family at a time. If you're looking for relief from the chaos and the scary things in the news, and you're looking for the helpers, they're right here. And while they often do their work under the radar, today is a day to share them with the world. So if you're a Highfield staff member in this room or tuning in virtually, please stand just for a moment for just a bit of recognition. You're all valued and appreciated. Thank you. And now it is my pleasure, joining us by video today, they could not be here in person, to introduce Highfields Music Program Leader, the amazing Mr. Russell Davis.
Hello and good morning. I bring you greetings from here on our residential campus here in Onondaga, Michigan. My name is Russell Davis IV. I'm the training coordinator here at Highfields. And I'm excited. This is one of my yearly highlights. Every year, I get to come to the breakfast and present 2 of our promising young students. If you didn't know, Highfields has a fully functioning professional music studio right here in our residential campus due to an outpouring of love from the James and Kimberly Curry Foundation. We have been able to do all of this, and we're still doing more. This camera we're recording on, this mural behind me, all of it. It's just been a blessing, and you have no idea how impactful it is in the way that it serves our youth. I'm hoping that after today's presentation, you'll see just how important it is to these kids, that we utilize an art form that they're already using, and teaching them how to use it for treatment and processing really traumatic events in their life. Today I have Carlos Ayala and Zion Johnson, who will be performing two pieces. Carlos is doing a piece entitled One Day, and Zion is doing a piece entitled Love Again. I pray it blesses you, and as always, be safe, and we'll see you next year. Bye.
My name is Carlos Ayala. I'm from Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'm going to share a song called One Day with you guys. Thank you for having me. One day, we gonna be living on the hills. One day, I'm gonna stop with all the pills. One day, all my pain gonna be healed. One day, you gonna feel what I feel. I don't wanna see my mama cry no more. Felt like alone in my whole life, no joke. Heartbroken in poverty, I know why she broke. I wear this mask, my feelings deep inside, they not gone. Why I take this room? Cause when I'm high, it's all gone. I know you been hurting, just know I love you, little bro. Used to write you every day, cause I ain't want you to go. Move my feelings out the way, I hope you know I moved on. One day, we gonna be living on the hills. One day, I'm gonna stop with all the pills. One day, all my pain gonna be healed. One day, you gonna feel what I feel. Hold on, where was that love when I was around? Acting like there wasn't a problem when I was down. In my dreams I scream into the mic and jump to the crowd. Never waited for the money, did what I did, I wanted it now. Was taking that bad path in my life and changing my route. One day, we gonna be living on the hills. One day, I'm gonna stop with all the pills. One day, all my pain gonna be healed. One day, you gonna feel what I feel.
Hey, my name is Zion Johnson. This is a song I wrote called Love Again. I hope y'all enjoy it. Oh, my brothers, my sisters, my cousins, my soldiers. We got savers in this world getting colder. When you feeling down, give me your hand, we need each other. Oh, 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 we gon' love again. Them dark days, them hard times, those will never end. In my cell, I ask the Lord, please forgive all my sins. Just please forgive all my sins. Ooh, oh, oh. Ooh, oh, 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 oh. Ooh, oh, 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 oh. Ooh, oh, 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 oh. Ooh, oh, oh. Look, baby, it's hard to feel it. Got a lot of pain. Ooh, try your best, silly. Oh, baby, I'm hurting. Where's the love stay lurking? It's hard to open up, so I tend to close the curtains. I ain't feel love in a minute. Hard times, I stay reminiscing. Lord, I tend to get in my feelings. Show me a love, girl, that's what I'm missing. Oh, we gon' love again. Them dark days, them hard times, those will never end. In my cell, I ask the Lord, please forgive all my sins. Just please forgive all my sins. Ooh, oh, oh. Ooh, oh, 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 oh. Ooh, oh, 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 oh. Ooh, oh, 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 oh. Ooh, oh, oh. The struggle for real, yet it feel like I'm dreaming. I've been going through it, pain got me in the deep end. Plenty times been lied to, trying to put together the pieces. How can I trust you when you be keeping secrets? When you wasn't there, you had me feeling all alone. The pain was eating through my body, yet I had to stay strong. You had me feeling heartless, now my love is gone. Am I gonna love again? Now I don't know. Oh, my brothers, my sisters, my cousins, my soldiers. We got savers in this world getting colder. When you feeling down, give me your hand, we need each other. Ooh, oh, 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 we gon' love again. Yay.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kevin Shaw. I'm also a board member at Highfields, and this morning I'm going to give you an opportunity to just take a moment to reflect silently. We'll have a moment of silence, and then I'm going to offer a prayer, so please join me. Lord, this morning we're so grateful to be here. We thank you that we have the freedom to assemble, and I'm grateful that there's organizations like Highfields that take your commandments seriously and are committed to helping people who are in need. And Lord, this room and those who are joining us virtually represent a lot of very generous people. It would have been just as easy for so many of them to say, no, I can't do it this morning, or I'm busy, or just say they weren't interested. And yet here we are today in early October here at the Kellogg Center, and I'm grateful that so many people in mid-Michigan are willing to say yes to just listen. And Lord, you've given us time, you've given us talent, you've given us treasure. And I pray that this morning our hearts would be stirred to consider how we might share one of those things, or two of those things, or maybe all three of those things for the good of our community. Lord, I'm reminded how you said in Matthew's gospel to the disciples that the way that we treat the least of those among us is how we actually treat you. And so this morning, it's a challenge for us to actually think about something other than ourselves. And Lord, I ask that you would help us to break free of our addiction of ourself and of our self-absorption, and that we would spend the next hour thinking about how other people have needs. And lastly, Lord, I thank you for the meal that we're going to partake of. Thank you for breakfast. I know myself and many others probably will take that for granted. And yet, Lord, we know that in a town the size of Lansing, in this community, a lot of people probably went to bed hungry last night, and they're waking up this morning and they might be hungry. And we're going to get a meal, and I pray that we would be grateful for that, and I pray that it would stir our hearts towards generosity to actually think about giving to others. So I pray that you'd bless the food to our bodies, and that you'd bless our time together, and I ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
A big thank you to Kevin and to Russell. We're going to have breakfast and pause our program, and we'll see you all in just a little bit.
Good morning, Highfields family. I know that many of you are still eating. Continue to do that. We are going to begin our program. So, good morning. It is truly great to have so many of us gathered in person and have so many people joining us via live stream today. For those here today, please remember to help keep everyone safe when not eating or drinking. Please mask up. My name is Brian Filson. I have the privilege of serving Highfields as the executive director. I'm in my 16th year at Highfields. Highfields was founded in 1962 with the simple mission of helping children and families overcome the challenges and obstacles that they have. We began as a very small residential program in rural Onondaga, and today we serve 13 counties in multiple programs in child welfare, children's mental health, and many in the educational arena. I want to take you back a few years and tell you a story that I believe illustrates the work that we do. It was 1997, and I was at a Detroit Lions football game at the Silverdome. Some of you remember the Lions in '97. They had a winning record. It was also the year that Barry Sanders rushed for over 2,000 yards. On that day, Rory, the Lions mascot, was roaming the stands, posing for pictures with children and families, and was truly adorable and lovable. As Barry Sanders made a great run and broke for the end zone with his all-pro vintage moves, the crowd erupted and was cheering and was on their feet. 80,000 people screaming for Barry Sanders and the Detroit Lions. Rory was making a beeline down the aisle to get to the sidelines to help cheer on the team. And I had an aisle seat, and I had a perfect view of this. As Rory was making his run for the sideline, this young father carrying a little toddler boy was chasing Rory because his son wanted to see Rory. Rory gets to the gate, security lets him through, and moments later, the father with his son gets there and isn't able to go through. With the crowd on their feet screaming, this young father was screaming something different. Please, stop, come back. And that little boy had his arms out, also just screaming, crying, and sobbing. All to no avail. In the midst of utter pandemonium, the young father simply sat down, comforted his son, who continued to cry and sob, and I was struck by the compassion of this young father and the love that he showed. And this image has been burned into my mind forever. And it lingers there today, almost like a picture in an art gallery. He cared for his son while the world around him was oblivious to their situation and dilemma. This is what our staff do every day. And it's why I continue to choose Highfields, because we make a difference when it would be easy not to. Over the past 18 months, it has felt like the world has been on fire. Amen? While everyone has been focused on the infernos around us, the pandemic, politics, poverty, violence, homelessness, Highfields has quietly gone about the work of comforting and attending to children and families while the world blazes around them, seemingly oblivious to their situations and dilemmas. I sometimes think that our staff are just like that young father who sat down, shut the world out to simply hold and help his son. Highfields lost 2 staff to COVID. And we've had many others who have been directly impacted to the loss of a family member. It has been an emotional ride, and I know that you've experienced similar, but we never want to experience it again. The pandemic has been tough on all of us, and we have faced some unique and some universal challenges. Currently, our number one challenge is finding and retaining good staff. The needs of our clients are greater than ever before, yet the workers are fewer than we have ever experienced. Through it all, there's one thing I do know. Our staff are heroes. They are truly remarkable individuals, and I am in awe of their work on a daily basis. Call me crazy, but I want a world where the fires of life are minimal and not destructive to children and families. I want a world where no child has to go without the essential tools to be successful in school. I want a world where a student doesn't squint in the back of the classroom because the family can't afford glasses. I want a world where a family does not need to choose between $500 rent and therapy for a family member. I want a world where the stress, anxiety, and depression doesn't overwhelm individuals and families to the point where taking their own life seems like an acceptable solution. I want a world where every life is able to experience the great joy and meaning for which we are all capable. I think it is what we are all here. I believe that there's great capacity in this room and our live stream audience, and I want to ask us all to collectively join together to support the Highfields mission of serving children and families. Please help us to be that quiet voice of reason, the comforter and caring agent when the rest of the world seems oblivious. Please help us say yes to children, youth, and families, and please take care of yourself. We need you. Our children and families need you. Thank you so much. Right now, I'd like to introduce our video Cornerstone Moments, and it's going to highlight some of the work that Highfields does.
Highfields, in their mission, seeks to go beyond what's already available. I've always been the type of individual that just believes that life doesn't happen by accident, and there's always things that bring people into your lives, bring opportunities. I call those cornerstone moments, those moments that really shape the trajectory of their future. Sometimes it comes during those signal incidences where a youth is in trouble.
I got a lot of responsibilities. I ain't got time to be going around, doing stuff I don't need to be doing.
Quan came here very focused. He articulated that he's got a daughter to get home to, he's got a family he wants to get back to, and he just basically said, I'm gonna do what I have to do, and I'm gonna get out of here and go be a support to those people that are important in my life, and he's lived up to that.
I had a bad attitude, and I never paid attention in class, so every time I get called out or something, I get mad. Since I've been here working on everything, it been giving me time to see the bigger picture. I hold a lot of stuff in, and I don't say nothing about it. I just be quiet about it. And when something irritate me and I get to the point, it just all come out at once. They just really been teaching me to let everything out, talk about it. We go over stuff, we go over the goals and what I could do from here to get home, and what I'm gonna do when I'm at home, and what I'm gonna do to stay home and stay out of trouble and be more successful.
He is a natural born leader. That's apparent. He walks into a room and people want to be around him. They want to get advice from him. They want to do what he does. And kids that have modeled their program after the way Quan has done it have been successful. We follow up with their parents and just say, how are they doing? What were the issues? And I think one of the most glowing reviews was just Quan's mom when he's come back, and just how she said she can see the difference in him, and he's becoming a young man, you know what I mean? He's really maturing, and when you get those type of reviews from the parents who know them better than we ever will, that's probably one of the biggest indicators of success, change, that type of stuff. So we've been very pleased with Quan for sure.
It's not really a lot of programs like this. A lot of kids go to prison, and this is a better opportunity. I feel like people should support me. To be honest, I didn't know what to expect, but I appreciate them really taking their time out the day to really work with me and try to help me change my mindset and the caring and the love they give us here.
I am 28 years old, single father of 3 boys.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good, how are you? I know, right? It's been so long.
Yes.
I can tell that a lot what's going on. From the outside looking in, you can tell a lot from a person by their appearance.
In my past, I believe that, you're the manly man and you don't show emotions, you take care of if you have to. Growing up, I guess my parents were more old school. They believed in disciplining and spanking. From my beliefs growing up that, spanking it was okay, and if someone did something, you'd give them a pat on the butt. We were in the middle of potty training. I had asked him to go sit down on the potty chair. He threw a fit, temper tantrum, scream, shout, throwing stuff around. Asked him to, stop, walked away, got worse. He was calling for mother. So at that point, that's when I went to spanking.
We want parents to understand what it takes to make those rightful decisions for you and your children, how that can affect you and your life.
At first, it was a lot going on already with life, so wasn't too sure how to feel about it.
When I first met him, he was somewhat like a closed-in box, but after working with him and talking with him, he kind of opened up.
This program has showed me self-care. I thought self-care was taking care of everybody, making sure they're financially fine, all their problems are good. Don't worry about me. If you can't take care of your own self mentally and physically, and how are you going to be there to actually take care of your actual children?
Through the parent education program, I was able to give him the tools that he needed in order to become a better father.
My kids are my motivation. That's why I wake up every day to go to work. What this program's meant to me as it was a chain breaker, a barrier. Instead of living in the older past style, to cut it down and to show my kids love in a different way. You can also be emotional with your children and open up and talk to them and show them it's okay to cry one day. It's okay to open up and talk to me. After going through Highfields for a little bit there, and they seen that I was on task, staying consistent with it, showing up on time, seeing that I was actually trying, they granted me 40% custody. It felt great.
I am happy to see that he is taking care of his children. He's spending more time with his children.
I've had a better connection with my kids and a more emotional level with them than I ever have. It's life-changing.
You need an organization that is never going to be satisfied with the status quo. It's always going to be able to look beyond. They're not going to wait to look and see what's broken. They're going to look and see what I can enhance further. It's important to support Highfields, whether it be financially or any other way that you think is constructive, because it is important to ensure that their mission is sustainable and it continues, because there are still lives to be touched. There's still cornerstone moments to change, and there's still stories that are still unwritten. So support is integral in them being able to sustain that mission.
At this time, I'd like to invite Nicole and Eva and Joseph and Ricky to join me up on stage. They're coming, and Nicole is a staff member that works in our Families Together Building Solutions program. Joining her is Eva, Ricky, and Joseph, and they may need a little bit of encouragement. They're a little nervous this morning, so I know that you will give them a warm welcome and support them as they tell their story.
Hi there. Thanks, Brian. So my name's Nicole Way, and I am a family counselor for the Families Together Building Solutions program, and we call it the FTBS. And when I started working with Eva about 6 months ago, her family was dealing with a lot. She had an open CPS case that had been open for almost a year. And 9-year-old Ricky was in the juvenile home because during the pandemic, Eva had to go back to work and had no child care. And during a normal sibling fight, Ricky grabbed a kitchen knife and stabbed his little brother. So he, at 9 years old, had a criminal record. So when we started working together, Eva stated that she really wanted to work on how to help the boys manage their anger, get along better, how to help her parent, and how to help her meet all of her needs and budget. And they've done an amazing job. And Eva, would you like to come and tell us what your life was like before working with Highfields?
Hi, I'm Eva. It was pretty hectic. Me and my kids didn't really have a bond, struggling being a single mom. Didn't really have childcare, so I, as a mom, was still trying to provide for my kids and me. So I was doing the best as I could. My kids would be at home with a phone so that they could contact me at work. But we started having some complications with the boys getting angry and upset because they didn't have a adult figure there to keep structure. And I was having some issues myself, kept yelling and screaming rather than talking to the kids. So it was really hectic, but since Nikki's been in with us, it's been a dramatic change. I'm able to go to work without my kids having a problem and fighting. My kids have done a great job in school now. Ricardo went from getting D's to A's, B's, and C's. So that had changed a lot. Having some trouble with rent and bills and car problems. If it wasn't for Nikki and the people that has donated money to Highfields to help out, she's been able to help me with getting tires in my car because I have a blowout and I had to get to work. She's helped me with getting internet back on so that my kids could do their virtual schooling. She's helped me with multiple things, school supplies. If it wasn't for her, I honestly think I would still be really far behind on everything. So I appreciate everybody's help.
Thank you. And this is adorable Ricky, who has come so far. Let me tell you, Ricky was a wonderful probationer. His probation officer really enjoyed working with him, and he successfully completed probation a month ago. Yes. And Eva's CPS case has closed, finally. So, yes. And Ricky is also getting A's, B's, and C's in school and doing wonderful. Last year, he didn't want to go at all, so yes. Do you want to say something, Ricky? Can you share? Can you just share how things were before we started working together? You can look at me and talk.
So, my life was pretty terrible before I met Nicole. I used to get in trouble with the police a lot and fail in school, and I used to go to juvie a lot. And me and my brother would always argue, but ever since Nicole came to help us, I've been doing better in school, and I have got involved with the police and started bonding with my brother.
My cutie patootie, Joseph. Joseph, what was things like before we started working together at home?
I would get in a lot of fights every time I would go outside. But every time I would go inside, my brothers would say something mean, but trying to joke around, and I'd just get mad and start fighting them. But since Nicole came around, I started going to my bedroom and taking deep breaths.
Okay. Thank you, Joseph. So we've done a lot of work on emotional regulation and just being able to help the family bond. And meet all of their basic needs. And Eva, would you like to share just a little bit on, well, you did, I guess, shared about how things have changed. And, I just want to say that there's been so much we've been able to do that really help this family that they needed, just their basic needs met, that, the resources that sometimes can be hard to find. And we're very appreciative of, all of the donors' helps, and to be able to, and I'm appreciative of being able to work for such an organization that I can do such good work with such wonderful people. And I just want to give this to the family, a certificate of awesomeness, because Eva, Ricky, Joseph, and little John recognized for outstanding dedication and hard work in learning healthier ways to get their needs met. They are a true vision of what strength and love can accomplish when families stay together.
Thank you so much, Ricky, Joseph, Eva, and Nicole. Last night, Joseph saw me in the lobby, and he's like, "Hey, Brian, you got a haircut just like me." At this time, I want to introduce Susan to the stage, and she's going to share her journey as a parent who needed Highfields services for her son and her family. Immediately following Susan, you will hear from Peter Tratt, a current Highfields board member.
Well, that was quite a testimony. I brought the Kleenex just in case. Just a great testimony to what Highfields is all about. I want to begin by thanking you, the supporters, for your generosity to Highfields and to the Highfields Wraparound team for all you do for the success of our children. It truly takes a village to raise children. This program gives parents and grandparents alike the added support, education, and techniques to successfully drive behavior and communications in the right direction. I want to thank Kiana Mendez, my wraparound facilitator, and Ron Jackson from MST for the tremendous support over the past 18 months. They have exuded love and compassion for both my son and myself. They care about families and at-risk children. They never stop thinking about the next step to bring about positive change in the child and family. I became a grandmother at the age of 43. I became a mother at the age of 43. Not only to an infant, but one born positive to opiates and marijuana. Adoption occurred 18 months later, just prior to parental termination. I was faced with an adult child fighting a heroin addiction. I was self-employed running a business, and I thought this was my time in life to focus on my interests. In 2018, we sought professional counseling for then a 12-year-old son. On the onset of talking suicide, having oppositional defiant disorder, which was being oppositional and defiant to everything he was asked to do. How do you tell him that his brother is his biological father? How did this happen? How do you get a child to open up about their deepest feelings and fears? After 18 months in therapy, the psychologist announced that he was retiring, and it was recommended that I look into wraparound services in Jackson County. From the onset, I received nothing but voices with smiles on them. They sincerely gave ear to understanding my child's needs and matching programs to his needs. Highfields therapist Anna Utter was assigned to us. I joke around that she can talk boy. She came to the house 2 or 3 times a week. I have to say that the in-home setting was completely different than the in-office. Being on my son's turf brought about the true behaviors that we're trying to address, which were not present in the office settings. She worked on de-escalation therapy with him, strategies. She was there for me, even in the evenings to talk him down from suicidal ideations. The problem became bigger, and they recommended multi-systematic therapy, also known as MST. We began MST in January of this year. Wow, what a program that is. Quite intensive work for both my son and myself. My work was staying consistent on consequences. My work was keeping calm and not escalating myself. My work was refocusing him during escalation. My work was positively rewarding him, even if his behavior was unacceptable, but he was making progress. My work was taking care of myself. Before Highfields, I was out there with no coach, with no one to speak to about what I was going through, that had knowledge of my child and his problems, that had the education, knowledge to direct me, suggest to me, and to encourage me in ways to speak, to act, to encourage and love my child. Before Highfields, I was on an island, all alone with little to no help. I have a team today. Even if they are not physically present, they are in my invisible tool belt. They are accessible. Kiana removed the communication pressure I felt to facilitate routine meetings, bringing together through Zoom my son's team, the educators, the psychologist, the school counselor, we as parents, and any other relevant party together, so we can be on the same page, heading in the same direction, aware of the behaviors both at school and at home, and to share and celebrate my son's successes. I have my MST handbook of successful techniques that were implemented in just the short 5 months specific to my son. I would like to take this moment and celebrate all of you and the entire Highfields team. Thank you for the opportunity to share with you my personal story. From donors to the wraparound team, you are also important to the pursuit of our children becoming contributing and self-supportive citizens in our community. Thank you.
Morning, everyone. As Brian said, my name's Peter Tratt. I'm a current Highfields board member. Today you've heard the amazing client testimonials and the Highfields story and met some of our wonderful people. And it's my privilege to ask you to consider making a financial investment to support our day-to-day operations. But before I do that, I want to provide some insight into why I choose to support Highfields. I was recently having a conversation with a group of donors, and we were talking about all the great work that Highfields does. But one of the donors mentioned that it wasn't until they got to visit the Highfields campus and talk to some of the boys and talk to the staff down there that it really clicked and triggered their decision to make a multi-year commitment to Highfields. And so that got me thinking, and I want to share what I've been able to see over my years of being involved with Highfields. First and foremost, I've seen a dedicated group of senior leaders and staff who care deeply on a personal level for the family and children that they care for. It's been an incredibly challenging 18 months, as we all know, and even more so in the nonprofit industry. But that commitment to serve has never wavered nor declined. As a kid, I can remember meeting Brian in our driveway to provide Christmas presents that had been donated by my parents' friends at their annual Christmas party. And to come full circle, as an adult, I've been able to attend the Highfields Christmas party on campus for the boys, get to interact and talk with them, watch their faces light up as they get to open up their Christmas presents, and really just enjoy being kids. And I've seen firsthand how the generosity of donors and supporters allows Highfields to continue to grow, continue to support more families, and continue to serve those in our communities. It sure is reassuring to know that if a need arises, Highfields will be there for anyone in this room. So before I ask the table host to pass out the pledge cards, I have some very exciting news. The DART Foundation, which is a longtime supporter of Highfields, has agreed to generously match any donations at the breakfast today up to $30,000. With their support, your gifts will go even further today. And I'm also happy to report that the Highfields Board of Directors and senior staff once again have 100% participation in giving, and we certainly appreciate their support in Highfields' mission. So now is the time for action. I'd like to ask the table captains to open up your pledge cards and pass them out. If you've been inspired by what you've seen and what you've heard today, I would like to ask you to support Highfields' ongoing needs, and please join me as a member of our Strengthening Family Society. At the top of your card, the Strengthening Family Society pledge level names are meant to give you a sense of what your contribution can do. Your contribution will go towards the unrestricted operating funds of Highfields. The first giving level is the gift of stability, and it's a pledge of $1,000 each year for 5 years, which if you break it down is about $83 a month. The second giving level, the gift of strength, is a pledge of $5,000 each year for 5 years. And the final level, the gift of empowerment, is a pledge of $10,000 each year for 5 years. If you are joining me in pledging support for the Highfields mission, thank you so much on behalf of the children and the families that we serve. And if you'd prefer to give at a different level, on the next line, please tell us how much you'd like to give, and if you'd like that to be for multiple years, please indicate so. Or perhaps you'd like to give a gift of stock or something else, you can check the box and the Highfields representative will reach out. And I'd be remiss as a tax accountant if I didn't point out what a great tax strategy it is to donate stock. So. But most importantly, whatever you give today, including just being here in person, being with us online, we sincerely appreciate your support. So I'll give you a few minutes to finish filling out your pledge cards. If you'd like to take them home, feel free. And when you're all set, go ahead and give them back to your table captains. Thank you all once again for being here today, for your continued support, and I'll turn it back over to Ann to wrap things up.
I just told Carrie Freeman, fellow board member, that if I had a daughter, I'd want her to marry a boy like Peter Trapp. Carrie said, he's a nice young man. He's a nice young man. Thank you all for coming. Am I making him blush? Yeah. You did it. Well done. So clearly we started the day out and I was telling you about my favorite part about Highfields and looking for the helpers, and I think you saw some of them today, didn't you? So it's not even 9 o'clock yet and we've already found the helpers. The world is truly a beautiful place. Thank you all for joining us. Of course, if you have any questions, you can refer them to the Highfields staff, and we are very grateful to have you, and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.